going to be hearing the story of Snowdrop today, so please sit back and enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Snowdrop, and this is my story.
Lord, we thank you for coming today. So the first question we're gonna get started off here is, how was your childhood like? How did that affect you while you were growing
Oh god, that's a good question. My childhood growing up was, I guess, like run of the mill. Not very many friends growing up, and definitely the case of getting bullied during school. But it made me who I am today. I became more confident in myself because I realized that people don't mean shit. So, it's all about how you perceive yourself.
And do you think that bullying experience like was part of who you became? Like knowing that like those bullies were just like, they were more insecure themselves, so they had to push it off onto you. Do you think that made you like way stronger in the end because you got bullied?
It made me stronger in the end, but during the period of being bullied, it definitely made me feel a lot weaker. I felt like maybe the things that they were saying was probably true, and it led me to go down quite a bad path in life, try and prove my worth.
Okay. And what would you say to anybody who's like kind of being bullied right now? What would you say to them?
If you're getting bullied right now, whether it be on the internet or in real life, ignore them. Trust me, all they are is basically like a mental health issue. It's just a voice in your head.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, the words might cut deep, but you're a lot stronger. You stand through thunderstorms, you sleep through night terrors, like, you're good.
Yeah, I love
Don't let someone's words make you who you are.
Yeah, like I said, I love that. I love how you're like, there's like, even though it hurts now, you'll heal from it in the future. Wounds heal, right? So going off that, what's some things you have done in your life?
Oh, something that I'm not proud of, that I've done with my life is IRL. I ran with gangs. It didn't end well. But to all them people out there that are like running and thinking that, like hot shit and shit, you're not. You're just a puppet and you're being played. Escape that fucking reality and become like a genuine person. Stop worrying about the price tag and who's got the most street cred. Cause trust me, at the end of the day, it don't mean shit.
Okay, and what was some... That's all you. Go from the top now.
But going on the positive side of running with gangs, I realized that that's not the way in life. I've seen what that can do to people. I mean, I've lived to tell the tale. Shot twice and stabbed once. You know it's not the right life.
Yeah, so you kind of learn through your experiences. It's like, that's not the life that you wanted to live because you knew that it would only lead into like an early grave type deal, right?
100%.
So do you want to talk a little bit more on like that? You said you got shot twice and stabbed once. Do you want to talk a little bit more on that like stabbing incident?
Oh, the stabbing incident? Okay, so I was probably about 16, 17 at the time, and I was coming home from a friend's house on a bike, and I thought, fuck it, I'll take the park. It's night time, no one's really gonna be in there, I'll be fine. What I didn't realize was about halfway through my cycle journey home, which was only about 10 minutes, I'm about midway through the park, and I feel this thud in my back. Didn't think much of it. I thought I just, like rear tires, like kicked up a stick, it's hit me in the back or something. And it wasn't until I got home, and then I put my key in my door, opened my door, my mom's at the door to greet me, and she's like, "You look pale." I was like, "What do you mean I look pale? I'm fine. I feel good." My heart's racing because I've just been running my bike as fast as I could through the park, because honestly, it's not a good place to go through. And it wasn't until I started bringing my bike through, my mom started screaming and crying because I still have the knife that I've been stabbed with hanging out of my back. yeah, the adrenaline had basically like nullified the pain, and I was just kind of like in shock at it being there still. I still have the scar to this day, and a lot of people that I meet are like, "Oh, you never got stabbed." And I'm like, "Yeah, look, but look, here's the scar." And I lift up the back of my shirt, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're not lying."
So after you said like your adrenaline was like running, what was the aftermath? Like what kind of happened after then? Like after you realized you had been stabbed?
Oh, um, essentially after realizing I've been stabbed, my mom rushed me up to the hospital. I had to lay down like stomach first in the backseat of the car to kind of like make sure that I'm not putting any pressure on the blade in my back. When I got into the hospital, I had to wait for about an hour and a half because the UK's health service is not the greatest. Although it is free. I had to do an X-ray with the knife still in me. Thank you. But the doctor came back and was like, honestly, we're surprised. You could have been paralyzed from the waist down, because the blade had literally missed your spinal cord by like a few millimeters. So I was lucky to avoid that. That was a huge wake up call to be like, okay, I need to stop messing around with gangs and to get away from that lifestyle. And that's when I like bought myself a gaming PC and was like, you know what, I'm gonna just stay indoors, I'm gonna just play games. It's what I want to do. It's the place where I feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So to like anybody in like inside of a, you know, either a virtuality gang or a real life gang, how would you tell them to go about like getting out of that? Like you said, you know got your PC and you got online. How do you have any other ways that you know you can get out of that?
If you're in a virtual reality gang, stop hanging around with absolute monkeys. Trust me. I don't mean that in a racial term, I mean that in like the script kiddies, no brains kind of, I do this because everyone else thinks it's cool. You're not being cool. Trust me, you're just causing chaos for other people and you're giving yourself a bad rap. Imagine it like you go to a job for the first day and, I don't know, you fuck up real bad, but you blame it on someone else. That's not gonna get you anywhere in life, dude. Be you. Why you gotta try and appease everyone around you? If you're stuck in an IRL gang, honestly, it's difficult to get out. But I'm pretty sure if you turn around to the person that's, you know, coaxing you into being in the IRL gang, like, this isn't what I want to do. Like, I want to make something of my life. I don't want to be stuck here doing this, mugging people on the streets and stuff like that. Pretty sure they'll understand. If they don't, then, you know, fight for your life. Get away from it. Block the people that you know. Don't answer the door to them. There is help out there. It's hard to reach for. And if you do manage to escape, do what you want to do. Whether it be, you know, playing games, or doing art, or live streaming, YouTube, anything like that. Be your own person. Why are you being a puppet to these people that want nothing but to, like, take money from you?
Yeah. That was really wonderful. I'm glad that you kind of gave some light on these people who might be like feeling hopeless inside of these situations. But kind of moving on to a more positive light, your wife sitting next to you, who's been here to kind of, you know, emotionally support you. How did you go about meeting her?
So I'll take over this part. Um, so I got my VR headset in February of 2020, like peak COVID, like right when it started, and we met very shortly after I got it. So I was just on Quest. I didn't have a gaming PC. I didn't do anything. I literally had to go on a headset to hang out with some of my friends who went to college. But then I got COVID. I was stuck indoors for, you know, almost a month straight. I met someone who happened to be part of Snowdrop's friend group, and they introduced me to her. She was with someone else at the time, but honestly, I liked her from day one, but I wasn't going to step anyone's toes. She was happy. And it took a little bit before we started actually hanging out on a regular basis, but she got comfortable enough around me where we started talking almost on a daily basis. Like, a few months after we met, we'd known each other a year before we started dating. And the story of how we started dating is a little bit funny. So she was with someone at the time, and there was another guy, one of her friends, who wanted to pursue me. And they were sweet, or at least I thought so at the time. Sorely mistaken. And we started dating. And then later on, they ended up cheating on me. They accused me of cheating. They basically, because I wasn't giving them attention 24/7, they threw a hissy fit. And Snowdrop just wanted everything to kind of settle down, tried to get us to talk, but this person accused Snowdrop of liking me and saying that's the only reason why she was being nice to me and she wanted us to make up is because she wanted me. And she didn't tell them that she did, but apparently she had at that point. But she had said that she would never date a friend's ex.
Yeah.
And then they blew up and basically cut her off as a friend as well. And from there, Snowdrop and I would like joke, flirt a lot, because that's how we are as people. We flirt with close friends. And we mentioned how neither of us are going to date for a long time, for like at least a year, because of how all our previous relationships had ended in disaster. And then Snowdrop made a joke about us getting together, and I'm like, I thought we were both waiting a year. And then she started doing countdowns. She's like, then in 365 days, I will take you out to eat. We'll start dating. I say, bet. I thought it was a joke. And then this cutie starts actually counting down the days. So 64, 363, I think got down to like 180 something. And then we were in a world with a few of her friends. We kind of went off to the corner, and she told me how many days were left. I think it was like 180 something, like 184 something like that. And I said, bet again. And she's like, see, you think I'm joking when I say this. I go, but you see, if I flirt with all my friends, no one knows when I'm really flirting with them or not. And she goes, well, how do I know you're really flirting with me? I'm like, because I just told you. So at that point, we both knew. Yeah, we both knew each other, like each other. And the next day, she asked me out, and it was wonderful.
Rest is history.
And we have been together since.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 3 years this November.
Yeah, that was a very sweet story. I love hearing about that, how like relationships work out over this game, and it's always nice seeing, because you see a lot of toxic relationships in this game, but it's always nice to see that there is like true love stories out there. No matter if it's in real life, if it's over VR, no matter where the distance is, you guys have loved each other the entire way. That's awesome to see. Alrighty, that was a really lovely story. I'm glad we were able to hear that and hear you guys' how you guys met. It was awesome. Kind of staying on the VR chat topic, what was kind of the crazy experience you had inside of VR chat?
Oh god, craziest experience? In a more positive tone as well, going along with how me and this cute little bean met. I would say that it was the first day of me streaming. I was part of a group back in 2017 that had like this gimmick, I'd like to call it. We all had the same model, different colors for the models, and different animations on each model, and it was to do with the 7 sins that everyone like knows religiously, like lust, greed, gluttony.
The 7 deadly sins, yeah.
Yeah, and I was lust, and I was one of the first people to bring vibrators and them kind of content VR chat. And one of our members, I didn't realize it at the time, was a big and very famous streamer. I won't expose their name for reasons, but it became like this Easter egg hunt. People tried to hunt us all down and collect all 7 of us together. We had a world that, like, if all 7 of us were there and active in the same world with a viewer, they could have a chance of winning a gaming PC and stuff like that. We held competitions like that constantly. But one of the princesses basically helped me out on becoming a streamer they helped me set up my OBS and all that kind of content in Discord, and it was like, oh, go live, test it, like see how it goes. So I went live to do a quick like 5-minute like trial run just to see if the settings were fine and if my PC could handle it. Next thing I know, they rated me on stream with over like 7,000 viewers.
Oh wow.
And my stream alerts broke. I had no idea because I've never talked to people and stuff like that and like such a majority. But it was one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had because it was like so overwhelming, and it led to some really good memories, especially doing the first ever 24-hour stream to celebrate hitting like over 1,000 like followers within like a week. It felt great. And it was so like crazy because I remember doing a 24-hour stream, and at 23 hours into it, no one had really donated until the very last like few minutes, and I remember being in the presentation room in VR chat while doing it, and I went AFK for a minute. I came back, and everyone was like, "Oh, you missed the alert! You missed the alert!" And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" People had donated to me over $1,000 at the end of my towards the end of my 24-hour stream,
Oh, that's sweet.
and I just remember breaking down crying. I have the clip still because it's a fond memory of mine, but I did not expect that kind of support and everything from a lot of people, but it was mind-boggling to say the least. Excuse me, bitch?
It's
Okay,
funny,
I'm
the
good.
whole time I was trying to think of what would be my most, like, memorable memory when it comes to your chat, and mine is so much more dull than yours. So it's like, outside of, like, thinking of outside of moments with you, because obviously those are the most important. Whenever
Yeah.
I first got my gaming PC, and my homeworld was Spirit of the Sea, going from Quest to actual PC, like, the first thing I noticed was the rain on the windows. Like, you could actually
And
see
seeing
it.
everything completely different this
Yeah.
time around.
Be able to see, so I love ocean life, I love underwater stuff, I love, bioluminescence, and Spirit of the Sea has a lot of that I could not see on Quest. So, like, I just remember, like, spawning in, going to the window, watching the rain, and then seeing, like, there's, like, the whales and the fish, and, like, all the different wildlife outside, and just I literally sat there for, like, 10-20 minutes just watching the rain fall on the glass, listening to it because you could hear better, it sounded better, the music was everything, it was just, like, you could hear everything, and it was just beautiful. And I literally just sat there for like 10 minutes just watching the rain, staring at the fish. And just anytime I was stressed, I would just go to that world and I would just find a place near the window. I would just sit down and watch it. And then Crystal showed me, if this isn't going in the screen, but Snowdrop showed me quite a few other underwater worlds.
Yeah.
Because she found out that I really liked them. And
I actually
like
have similar experiences
Aquarius
with
was a big one that I got
Quest.
really excited about. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
go
just,
from
it's
Quest to
such
PC
an
is
amazing.
mind-boggling.
It's so crazy. Like you said,
Right,
rain.
Yeah.
I did the
Same thing on my homeworld. Like there, you can see the rain. I'm like, yo, look at the right. You can see
Yeah,
the
you just sit
drops,
there and you're like
yeah.
memorized.
It's like all the like the reflections. I'm like, yo, bro, what? I can see this. I like on Quest, everything's just
like it's
way more dull. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
Bland.
yeah.
So you mentioned your family, and I was just wondering, how is your relationship with your family? Is it like a good one, or is it a bad one, or just kind of like a neutral? You guys are just, standing on a neutral ground.
Regarding my family, it's a bit of a 50-50 scenario. Obviously, being someone that wants to transition from male to female and stuff like that, it's difficult. Like telling them to your parents, saying, "Hey, this is not who I am. This is who I am instead." It's especially difficult when my mother and my stepfather are both, I wouldn't say 100% homophobic and transphobic, but there is quite a lot of that all
Yeah.
partakes in life. So while I'm living here and dealing with things, I have to live life as a lie to them. It does make things in certain scenarios kind of awkward and very difficult to deal with. but generally they are supportive of things that I set out to do. They are amazing people. My mother especially does everything in her way to not only make sure that me and my sister are okay, but she'll put herself in a worse position to make sure that we're doing good. So my mother on that part is amazing. My stepfather will work himself to the bone to pay for holidays and to treat us, and he has been doing that since we was both, like me and my sister were both young. So to him, honestly, I wouldn't even call him a stepfather, I'd call him an actual father at this point. He's definitely gone above and beyond to earn that title.
Yeah.
And also, when it comes to the trans and, lesbian thing, luckily my family is very accepting of trans, of homosexuality, and they, like, my mother, my stepdad, my sister's husband, and my grandma all love Snowdrop to death. And she's hung out with them several times. We all play games together. Luckily, most of my family are gamers as well. So we've played quite a few games with them. And my mom absolutely adores her. Her and my stepdad get along famously because both have similar interests in Call of Duty, guns, and guitar.
Yeah.
And they treat her very well. So even though her family over there is not accepting of that stuff, mine is, and she gets that acceptance, that love, and she gets to be who she truly is with my family, which is also going to be her family.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm glad your family is just be like, hey, who you want to be is fine. I'm not gonna judge you for that one. It's
I got very lucky. I have a very amazing family, and I'm happy that she's gonna have that same support that I am lucky enough to have.
That's awesome.
And they're already ready to help her get her name legally changed, help her start transitioning when she gets over here. Like, my whole family's already ready, and myself obviously are ready to help her the second she gets over here. Like, we're already have plans in motion that we're gonna put in so she can be her true, full, comfortable self.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad that you're gonna be able to be who you are, and not have to have any kind of more restrictions. You're allowed to live your life, and that's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're gonna fully be able to do that once you come over here. But kind of moving on.
I truly appreciate it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. I try to support everybody, in every type of way. No matter who you are or what you do, I'm gonna try and support you as long as you're just a good person, to the core. That's all I really look for. I'm kind of going off that Snowdrop. I wanted to know, how are your moral values challenged in life? Like, what is your most challenging part of that?
I always tell people, love everyone and not give hate. It does become difficult at times, especially when someone causes an issue that they're in the wrong for. But I try to always please the people around me. I never want to cause a negative effect on someone or have a go at someone. But there are people that will cause more of an issue than needs to be, and will constantly try and be like, where this is me, where this is my issue, and try and cause more issues than what's needed. It's hard to try and forgive them, give them a second chance, and to constantly keep doing that. So it's it becomes like a morally gray zone for me when having to do with that, and I don't quite know how to deal with it. But one thing that I've learned from hanging around with the people that have supported me and genuinely been there for me is to essentially be like, well, you messed up, tried to move on, but you messed up again, and it keeps becoming this repetitive thing. People will eventually get tired of it, and to be honest, I've grown tired of it, so I'm gonna have to say, adios, best of luck in life. Don't keep people around if they're gonna constantly cause issues, because it's gonna do nothing for you but cause more drama, and that's not needed in life. Life is stressful enough. Whether you can pay the bill, do this and take care of everyone, it's almost impossible to truly take care of everyone around you when someone's still being that like child in a pram kicking and screaming. It's like you've got to learn to cut the tie at some point.
Exactly. It's like cleaning your
If
house.
they bring more toxicity than positivity into your life, you've got to cut them out at some point.
At what point is your own well-being take over from trying to make theirs good? You know, you gotta just know when to.
Yeah.
Cut them off. It's not like you're doing a bad thing. You're looking after yourself, which is perfectly valid, you know.
Exactly.
But
And taking care of yourself is the #1 priority. Because like a lot of things nowadays, everyone's like, "Oh, you took care of yourself. You're selfish." No, I'm just not gonna be there to babysit someone that just wants their life catered for and tailored.
Exactly. But to kind of tie this all up and put it into Nice Nightfall, VR chat can be like a really negative game at times. So what kind of keeps you both coming back to the game?
Oh God. For me coming back to the game, it's a kind of a mix of multiple things. Obviously, me and the wife are kind of doing it long distance at this point in time. For certain circumstances. So being able to spend the weekends with her in VR chat is just a way of me and her feeling closer. Plus, my brother and sister kind of live further away from me, and I really want to spend time with them too. Spend time in the VC during the week and whatnot, but to genuinely hang out and play games in VR chat and whatnot, and only have like shits and giggles, I would say, is kind of nice to jump in VR chat. And me and the wife, we have date nights in VR chat where we'll just like, we'll put ourselves on like idle or do not disturb and just watch a movie, snuggle up, and generally just have some us time. It used to get disturbed, but it's only because they're good friends of ours and we want to make sure that they're okay. We always put other people in front of us at times.
Yeah.
Because we know what it's like to have something going on and you want to desperately talk to someone, so we'll always make time for someone.
Yeah.
And what about you, Paige?
So for me, it's very similar to Snowdrop, where we do hang out in VC with a lot of friends. We have friends all across the US, all across Canada, all across Europe. And hanging out in the VC, playing video games is one thing, but hanging out in VR is kind of the closest you can get to inviting your friends over and like sitting on the couch and just talking, having that physical human connection. So we can just all go into a world, we can play pool or Connect 4 or just watch stupid YouTube videos and laugh at them while all sitting together and be able to look and see each other. It makes you feel closer to the friends who are thousands of miles away or across the whole world. It helps bridge that gap, and that's very important to me because I like being able to feel closer to them without even if they are 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So, despite all the negative stuff, the people keep me here.
Yeah, so the people you've just met, you know, either outside of this game or inside of it, kind of bring you all, both of you back in because it feels more realistic than sitting in a call, just talking and just hearing someone's voice. You're connecting kind of like body language, body movement through their voice, and it feels like they're actually there with you. So, yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's got that kind of like mental stimulation to it as well. 'Cause I know a lot of people, especially like regarding friends online, a lot of people don't class them as real friends, but hanging out in VR is like it definitely does bridge that gap where it's like, well, I like physical touch. Well, that's cool. In VR, you know, touch wife can touch friend, and it kind of like helps bridge that gap mentally.
Touch wife.
Touch wife, happy life, ride wife, feel wife, think about wife. But you know, it's that kind of thing.
I love that. That's staying in, by the way.
Bloopers. bloopers after the
Bloopers.
credits.
Oh, I love that.
That's ride wife, kill wife. Think about it.
Think about life.
I love that
Regret.
name so much.
Regret.
Oh, I love that. I don't remember what we're talking about. Oh, it's funny.
Oh, but
Why
like,
we're
that's
still
the thing.
here? Why we're in VR? When we come back to VR?
Yeah. Cause like, I've had a lot of bad experiences in VR to the point where I wouldn't touch a shit with a 10-foot barge pole. It's only recently that I reconnected with my brother and a few others and whatnot, and if it wasn't for the wife, my brother and my sister in the distance, kind of like taking care of me, making sure I'm okay, I wouldn't touch this at all. Like,
Yep, I
they
feel
are
that.
genuinely great people that have taken the trauma that this game could present and overwritten the memories with such good vibes that, honestly, if anyone was to ever badmouth them, I'd be on, like, America's Most Wanted.
I mean, you protect your own, and I love that.
I'm Snowdrop,
And I'm Peach.
and this is our story. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the story of Snowdrop and Peach. More like it are going to be coming out soon. Have a good day.